Cheers and welcome to Bitter Reality Brewing. Yes, we're brewing with the BrewZilla. First brew on the BrewZilla. That's right, my first brew on the BrewZilla. And I've got questions for you all out there. If you have a BrewZilla, I've got questions, and I'm gonna have questions throughout the brew. So feel free to throw some of the answers down in the comments. Help me out, I definitely appreciate it. But I already have a little confusion. And before we jump into the confusion, we're gonna try to hit 10K this year, okay? It's 2025, we're already barreling through February. Yeah, I know you're probably not seeing this video until maybe late February, early March, but like, subscribe, cost you nothing, huge for the channel, definitely helps, appreciate it. What are we brewing? That's really the most important thing. What are we brewing? Well, you probably, because I put it in the title probably, is I'm calling it a Red X IPA. That's right, Red X IPA. And very simple, I went through quite a few of these, but I got 14 pounds, and if you want to see it a little bit better, 14 pounds of Red X malt. That's the grain bill. We're done. Let's move on. Now, that is it though for the grain bill, and that should put us up around the neighborhoods of 7.4% ABV is what I'm expecting. Trying to hit somewhere around the 7.5%. I know if you do 100% Red X, it's going to be more brown or such a deep ruby red that it's going to look brown. I've been teeter-tottering back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I'm just gonna go for it. I wanna see what this stuff can do 100%. I know other people have done it, but I wanna see. That's been a couple years. I just wanna see. Now, it's not gonna be a smash. It'll be a SM, whatever you wanna call it. So yeah, single malt, but hops, no. I wanna enjoy this, and I know with a single hop, I'd have to lean towards certain hops that I like to complement them with other hops. Hops, when they're layered or multiple hops hit, they just seem to do better. Now, layering them throughout the brew also seems to do really well, but I'm a little lazy, and I also don't want to crank the IBUs up through the roof. So I've done two things to reduce my bittering a little bit. And the IBUs, theoretically, according to this, it's gonna be like 80. I know, everybody just went, wait, you said you didn't want it to be that bitter. Okay, the hops are at least just over a year old, which means they were harvested the previous year, and they've been kept frozen, they've been all that. So I'm expecting that my IBUs are gonna be closer to the high 60s. Just diminishing returns over time, and they're aging. So I'm thinking maybe 64 to the high 60s should be great. I've also changed my brewing salts recipe slightly just for this one. So instead of going crazy on the gypsum and really getting a nice bitter beer, I've just gone bitter. So a 3-to-1 ratio on the sulfates, and that should do it well. I'll put up the brewing salts over here for you. That way, if you're curious, you can definitely check it out. The original brewing salts I've got from the classic West Coast IPA. Can't even remember the brewery. I'll put it down there if I remember, but it is what it is. But I was looking at a 1.3 grain ratio, or 1.35 grain ratio, water to grain, which was recommended, and that's on liters. But that was for the 110 volt. Knowing that this is gonna burn off more, being 220, I was teetering, and then I looked at Anvil, and I'm like, well, here's what they would recommend, and based on the water, the thing was so freaking full, I'm like, where the hell are the grains going? I mean, I'll put the grain basket in there and I'm gonna be sitting near the top, and I'm like, okay. So I was looking, instead of 1.35, maybe going as high as 1.5 or even 1.67, which would be more in the line with the Anvil. And I'm like, that's just too much water. So I did my brewing salts based on the total water, blended it up for a while, heated it, pulled off 2 gallons. I'm still looking to do a gallon of sparge. I may add some of the water back once we dough in, and I see what it looks like. Because according to Kegland, there's about 2 gallons of dead space. So I'm not really gonna have that much water really mixing with the grains, and I wanna make sure that I'm not pushing porridge, you know what I'm saying? So what's the grain bill? What's the hops? Like I said, 14 pounds Red X, very simple. I've got 1 ounce of Amarillo at 5 minutes. All of these are 5-minute additions. I'm just dropping all my hops at 5. So I have 1 ounce of Amarillo, 1 ounce of Columbus, 1 ounce of Mosaic, 1 ounce of Simcoe. I was thinking about Chinook, but for some reason in my head, Mosaic sounded better. And then instead of using an IPA yeast that you really think of off the top of your head, I'm using London from White Labs, the original London, not the hazy. There you go. not the hazy one. And this is just, it just works really well for a lot of beers. And I have 2 of these, so I figured I need to use one. So I'm going ahead for it. We're gonna go for it. Hopefully we'll end up somewhere around the 7.4%. I am gonna mash in at 150. This thing went right up to 150 really quick, and then it went down. I don't know what you can tell me what you see, but I may have to kick it up again. I am attempting on my first dough in not to have a strike temp and then let it crash and then bring it back. The anvil maintains it within about 1 degree or 2. I feel like the BrewZilla should be able to handle it. I mean, heating elements can't be that different. So that's it. I'm gonna get everything ready to mash in. Oh, almost forgot. Using the heat exchanger because it's recommended. And I tested it. I tested the small batch adapter from Anvil in the malt pipe. It doesn't quite fit, it leaves a little gap, but I'm gonna use it anyways to really help make sure that all the flow is going through the bottom. I've also got some rice hulls I'm gonna mix into the grains because I have a lot of grains. I mean, how does that fit with all that water? I don't know, we'll have to see. That's why I pulled 2 gallons off. The gallon I was gonna pull off anyways for sparging, and then a gallon just to free up some space and bring it down closer to the 1.3 liter grain ratio. Yeah, now my crush is beautiful because I've got a lot of grains here that look like they aren't crushed, and I touch them and they just break apart. So I got a really, of course, the first one there does not just break apart, but the majority are falling apart right beautifully right in my fingers. So there's always gonna be a few little sneaky bastards that get through there. Just saying the way it is. Okay, let's get mashed in. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get mashed in. Time to mash in. And we'll speed this part up as usual. Okay, that's thick, and I had to add the water back. So I'm sitting right now at 1.375 water to grain ratio. I'm very close to the little holes at the top for lifting it, and that's at 14 pounds. I was gonna say this might go 16 pounds. I don't see how you ever would get 23.5 pounds in here and not be like concrete, actually, forget porridge. So I'm gonna get everything on here. I do have the little small batch adapter on here. I have the heat exchanger. I'm gonna double check the temps. If I have to push them up a little to get them to 150, I will. I don't want the beer to be that thin. Yeah, I'm learning and not understanding. I do have a gallon of sparge that I will probably heat up and use. That would have put it up to 1.67 liters. You know, it's grain ratio, water to grain based on liters. But yeah, just very confused. Okay, we've mashed in. Let's get the mash going. I'm gonna go 75 minutes. I know some people are like 90 minutes. Okay, 75 minutes at 150, and then we'll kick it up to 168 for 10 minutes, and then we'll go to a boil. I'm not worried. That's one of the reasons I did this recipe with all the hops at the last 5 minutes. If I'm not boiling off enough water or wort, water from the wort, I can always let it go a little longer before I actually turn around and then go for the hop additions. So it's all good. Plan ahead, it helps. Okay, so we're about 11 minutes into the mash. I'm confused. I have it set for 150. Told it 1 degree difference, which means 1 degree. It's bouncing between 143 and 158, constantly. Although the set temp is 150. This is at 135 point something, 0.1, 0.5. I've taken a probe temp, which this and the probe are identical. The probe did say 139 in one area. So I think I'm gonna increase this temp, and follow me on this. If I increase the temp of that, it's underneath the heat exchanger. So it's not the actual temp in the mash because the wort's coming through, it's hitting that, it's being forced around it, it's getting heated by all the heating elements under it and then pushed back out. It is coming back through probably at that higher temp. I'm gonna figure it out here, but a little frustrated on the first brew. If it comes out paper thin, that's gonna suck. That's why I wanna raise the temp a little, see if I can fix this or adjust it a little bit, although the enzymes are already doing their magic, of course. BrewZilla brewers that feel really confident, down below, give me some suggestions. I do not have the PID on. According to what I was reading in Kegland, the PID is not something they would recommend, and they recommend the other. If you want to play with it, then that's fine. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff. Even the Homebrew Network, he's like, yeah, you know, even support says just stick to the old way, and yeah. So it's first adventure. I'm learning. That's the whole point of home brewing. If I wasn't learning or getting frustrated sometimes while I'm learning, I wouldn't be learning. So let's keep on. Let's rock on. Sorry for the noise. I got the water for sparging heating up. I've got the yeast going, and I've got some amazingly clear wort. Hopefully it's not too thin. We'll see. The temps were borderline nightmare. Yeah. It's set at 178. I'm actually getting 168 in the middle of the mash. I gotta play with these temp probes. I turned on the PID recently just so I can see what's going on. I may just ignore the temperature over on the side, and as long as this is good, and I'm taking readings directly from the liquid coming from the hose on the recirculation, and it's not exceeding anything crazy, I'm good. But I just don't trust that bottom temp probe. It's very hard to manage your temperatures in your mash when I do a better job using a pot and a lid. It's setting it to a strike, putting everything in there, double checking it, and letting it sit there as it slowly goes down. So I figured I'd turn the camera on, let you watch me pull this all apart, hope for the best, and you know, plan for the worst. So yeah, we'll see. Yep, give me a second. And I would not recommend doing this on a ladder, but you know, this is all about so you can see. Oh, this is heavy. It's pulling. And I missed one. Got him. Got all 4 notches. Okay. I'm gonna let that drain for a little while. Check my sparge water temp. Go ahead, sparge, and we'll resume. Okay. You may or may not see this. Yeah, hydrometer. And this is Brewing America's hydrometer. Sent it to me years ago. But yeah, it's actually calibrated for 155 degrees Fahrenheit. So, of course, I took a reading. We're at 6.75 gallons. Assuming I boil off a little more than 1.5 gallons over a 90-minute boil. I know you're all like, 90-minute boil? We'll get there. So on the 90-minute boil, if I can boil off enough to bring it down closer to 5.15, which is what I was looking to get, our efficiencies will be very high, about 82%, 82 point something. And instead of being 7.4%, we'll be sitting possibly close to 8%. You know, don't quote me because of course the yeast hasn't done its job, but yeah, I'll be happy as long as it's at that or below. Yeah, and if I end up pulling 5 1/4, I'm good with that too, and that drops us maybe, if we're lucky, down to around 7.8, that'd be even better. I'm still learning the system, it's the first time, I'm just happy. Normally my efficiencies are very low. I did a couple things to improve my efficiencies, and if you wanted to know about that. One, I actually water treated or moisturized the grains the night before with about 2.5% based on weight, with just straight distilled water. Mixed it all up, moved them around a ton until it felt a little dry and didn't want to worry about mold, you know what I'm saying? Went to bed. Woke up the next morning, crushed it, crushed smooth, didn't stick to the grain mill, was great. 2 other things I did. One, I lifted the basket about 15 minutes in and lowered it back down. I think that small batch adapter will help keep that main basket, whatever, plate on the bottom steady. Then I also squeezed the grains, put a little plate on it and pushed it down, got a little extra liquid from it, put that in there. So yeah, those are 3 things that I did that would definitely help with efficiencies, other than, of course, because I was afraid I was gonna get a stuck mash, which I almost got one, I saw the liquid coming up a little, and I felt like about 3/4 of the bottom was really kind of clumping down. I'd been playing with the flow on the circulation or recirculation, and I know I cranked it up a little too high there for a moment, and of course that impacted it, so I did a little stir of the grains. Stirring up those grains definitely helps. If you've ever seen a professional brewing system, they have these big old rakes that come through the grains and just keep moving them around to make sure everything gets touched and everything allows for that water and flow to get through it. So that probably helped a little bit. Of course, I stirred the top about every 15 minutes. That's pretty standard, not a big deal there, nothing special. I am a little tripping out on this. I can set this thing all the way to like crazy temp, look for my actual temp, but then I'm going by this. I'm getting close to a boil, but I'm not there. This says 178. It does look like I'm up in the 180s. But this, I've been testing it. It's dead on, so I'm not too worried. I only have it submerged a little bit, so it's not near the bottom, and the bottom could be, of course, hotter. Yeah, I'm dropping a degree, just pushing it down deeper. But I'm gonna leave that up there right now. I've got my defoamer from 5 Star, just in case I need it. I've got my mash paddle over here. I've already stirred the bottom. I wanna make sure, I know the bottom is smooth and it's shiny and it goes down like this, but I wanted to make sure nothing was sticking. I didn't have any wheat, I didn't have any rye. I just wanted to double check that. So things are getting going. This thing gets crazy hot. This I wish was made out of something other than whatever type of plastic it's made out of. That gets really hot. There's a few things, yeah, 4.2, I guess, which would be cool. I do like the handles a lot. They're very helpful. I don't like the open bottom. I feel like it's not as solid, so the bottom flexes a little more, which if it had a plate up under there, it would give it a little more stability. That is a little concerning for me, but nothing major, nothing to lose sleep over. And of course mine did, if you didn't see the first video where I unboxed it, mine got bent in shipping. So had that plate been in there, it may have kept it from bending as much, but I don't think it would have prevented it 100%. Okay, we'll get up to a boil here shortly. Okay, we're officially at a boil. And I was gonna say, hey, we got a nice light rolling boil, but no, it's nice. There you go. Oh, you can take a look, see, yeah. Very, very nice rolling boil. This says 212. That says, I don't even wanna know. Yeah, I guess I can pull it off and look at it for myself. It says 220 is current. I have it set for 223. Didn't care, as long as I got up to my rolling boil. So 220, I'm actually, at least for the top, I'm at 212. It probably is closer to 220 towards the bottom, but at 212 is when we get a good rolling boil. Yeah, I'm not used to having that ability to set some crazy temperature that I can't really achieve, but hey, as long as it gets to where I need it to be, I'm good. So I'm gonna take this out because it's very obvious now and I don't wanna eat up the batteries for no apparent reason. And we'll be here for, like I said, 90 minutes. And okay, and then in the last 5 minutes, we'll drop the hops. We've got 4 different 1 ounce hop additions. I'm gonna use a hop basket in here. And then on top of that, we've got our Whirlflock tablet, yeast nutrient, pretty much everything. I'm gonna wait to drop the jaded Scilla. I'll clean it really nice, but I'll drop it in literally at the 0 hour and we'll go from there. So yeah, we'll be here for 90 minutes, or at least I will. Okay, we're in the last 5 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and dump in a little Formato, a little expensive yeast nutrient. I got a Whirlflock tablet here. I'm just gonna break it in half and drop it in there. Actually, maybe a quarters. There we go. Got a little Anvil hop spider. Drop that bad boy in there. Why is that sitting? Oh, it's actually sitting on top of the heat exchanger. That's a little weird. I'm not used to that. Okay, got 4 ounces of hops. Yeah, 4 ounces. Smells frickin' amazing. There we go. And which I always do. I'm gonna bring it up and down a little. It's like wider compared to the Anvil, which seems to be taller, which I thought it was the opposite, but it's all good. Okay, that's gonna sit here for about 5 minutes. I'm gonna grab the jaded Scilla so we can get this all chilled down and get it into the fermenter. Okay, we just hit the 5th minute. Turn off the heat, pull this bad boy out. It's gonna take a bit to drain here. Let's see if I can move it. Didn't do too bad of a job there. Okay, let's see how much liquid it says we have, which I didn't think about the heat exchanger being in there. Okay, it's just a little bit past. Okay, we might be a little low, but not by much. This bad boy in here. Now, these quick connects on a jaded Zilla is going to slow its cooling efficiency or lower it a little bit, but it's so convenient. It's ridiculously convenient. That's why I sacrifice about 1.5 minutes. So it's all good. I'm gonna get this chilled down, get the wort that came from the hops put back in, check things out, move it to the fermenter, and we'll resume. Almost forgot, chill things down faster, get your pump going, and have it hitting right up on the edge of the jaded Zilla, your immersion chiller. Just getting that agitation going, I call that lazy agitation because I'm not in there spinning it around, will cool it down so much faster. It just will. It's like a pretty pink, kind of weird. Okay. So I was shooting for 75% efficiency, thought I had somewhere in the very, very low 80s, and ended up actually below 75. Mash efficiency was right at 75, estimated, and brewhouse efficiency was something like 73.2, which, hey, I'll take it. That's an amazing brewhouse efficiency for a first time brew on new equipment, malt I'd never used, all that stuff. I did drop in a, can't even remember what it's called, it's the enzyme from White Labs that helps to pull out the majority of all the gluten. I actually still had one of those little zinc additions. I threw that in there. If you didn't see in the beginning of the video, we got London Ale, WLP 013 from White Labs, WLP meaning White Labs. And yes, I'm already hitting a beer. I just got such a late start. It is what it is. This is my new thing too. When I'm doing yeast starters, I just use paper towels with rubber bands. And I do 2 layers and I do the inside, you know, like as you're unraveling it, the inside's that way it hasn't been touching anything. Good, bad, go ahead, you know, get grumpy, get happy, say cool, not cool, whatever, let me know. But that way I'm letting the air in. I know it's something that hasn't really been exposed to everything. And yeah, so seems to be working pretty well. But I'm gonna go ahead and dump this whole thing in. You know what, I need a magnet. There we go. This is actually the first all grain I've brewed in 2025. That's what I like. It's got a nice mild fruity smell to it. It's just nice. And we're gonna go ahead and dump that in there. Take the magnet off, put it over here, put this over here. I'm gonna go get the, let's see if I can pick this up. I wanna keep that on top. It's getting warm in Florida again, which means we have little bugs flying around, so I wanna make sure I don't get anything in here. I'm gonna go ahead, put the coil in here, get it on the fermenter. I'm pretty sure on London Ale yeast, I think 68 Fahrenheit is where I want it. And we'll let that ferment for a solid week, maybe a little longer. I'll dry hop, cheat sheet. I'll dry hop it with 1 ounce of Amarillo, Columbus, Mosaic, and Simcoe. After the fermentation is coming to a close, as it's ending, we'll let that go for about 3 days. I'll pull it off and cold crash it, carbonate it, and rock on. It'll already be partially carbonated from fermenting under a mild pressure, probably about 6-7 PSI, nothing special. Cheers, don't forget like, subscribe, keep sharing, appreciate you. And hopefully your 2025 is off to a good start. And I had a great start, but then ended up getting ill and I'm back on my feet, which is a good thing. Hopefully you're staying on your feet. Cheers, appreciate you.